Hello everyone, welcome to my update US Gossip channel. Kody and Robyn Brown's mansion seized by court order didn't come out of nowhere. It was brewing silently, simmering, hidden behind the couple's carefully curated narrative of victimhood and "we're just trying to hold the family together" rhetoric, building throughout the chaos of the Coyote Pass downfall, the kids' estrangements, and the complete implosion of the Brown family as viewers once knew it, until suddenly the hammer dropped. The legal notices surfaced, and fans were left stunned as the most protected asset in the Brown empire, the Flagstaff mansion Kody and Robyn always seemed to shield from scrutiny, was suddenly no longer theirs, triggering widespread shock, outrage, and speculation about how everything had fallen apart so catastrophically and why this particular blow felt like karmic justice after years of accusations that Kody funneled resources toward Robyn while leaving his other wives to fend for themselves. Viewers had long suspected something was off financially with Kody and Robyn, especially after season 20 showed them couching every conversation in the language of financial strain, spiritual crisis, and "no one is helping us," despite living in the most expensive home the family had ever purchased, and despite footage over the years showing moving trucks, new decor, new renovations, and endless expenses that the other wives openly complained they could never afford. It didn't help that during confessional after confessional, Janelle, Christine, and even Mary began painting their own picture of the financial imbalance, a picture that viewers took as confirmation that Kody had allowed the entire weight of the family's finances to collapse under his obsession with Robyn's household. But the mansion seizure itself, this final insult, as fans are calling it, didn't just spring from unpaid bills or property tax issues alone. The true unraveling began when documents surfaced showing that previous extensions, late fees, and quiet warnings had been piling up for months, perhaps even longer, all while Kody publicly framed himself as a victim of abandonment, a man simply trying to put pieces of a shattered polygamist dream back together. The official court order, according to those who have followed the Browns' financial trail closely, came after repeated failures to comply with deadlines, a miscommunication that appeared intentional, and what looked to authorities like an effort to delay accountability, something that longtime viewers immediately connected to Kody's tendency to procrastinate and deflect whenever responsibility didn't align with his preferred narrative. And yet, as explosive as the seizure storyline is, fans have zeroed in on something else happening at the exact same time, something that feels calculated, something that feels like the Browns, specifically Janelle and Kody, have discovered a new dance to keep their paychecks rolling and their relevance secured, dragging out their spiritual separation in the slowest, most drawn-out, most suspicious way possible so that TLC has more content to film, more confessions to record, and more drama to stretch across yet another season. Fans have pointed out repeatedly that Janelle has been emotionally and physically done with Kody since well before the Coyote Pass dream collapsed, yet on camera there's always this lingering, unspoken thread, this "we haven't fully closed the chapter yet" vibe, that feels out of place compared to the decisiveness Christine showed when she packed Kody's things into boxes and told the world she was done without needing a ceremony, a blessing, or a spiritual release. Janelle has admitted openly that she wants a spiritual divorce, that she understands the importance of it for her own emotional clarity and future relationships, but every time she mentions it, it comes with a caveat, a delay, or an excuse that fans increasingly believe is intentional, as if she and Kody mutually understand that dragging this storyline across seasons could guarantee their continued involvement in the franchise as key figures, especially now that Christine has remarried and Mary has moved on, leaving the show with far fewer dramatic threads to pull on. Season 20 already gave viewers the climax of Coyote Pass, the ending of the land dream, the revelations about who would finally walk away from Kody officially, and the strange, awkward moments where Robyn tearfully talked about being open to new sister wives again while Kody confessed, in what felt like a shocking shift, that women were still approaching him, even though fans had long assumed his reputation was beyond repair. But beyond that, the show offered something else, something that felt like a warning for what's coming, a heavy emphasis on unfinished emotional business, unresolved conversations, dangling relationship threads, and suggestions that future seasons would explore the wives' new personal lives, especially Janelle's, because viewers genuinely want to see how she reinvents herself, whether she dates again, and how she balances her independence with her lingering spiritual ties to the Brown family. The fixation on Janelle's spiritual release is particularly fascinating to fans because, unlike Christine, who made a clean break, or Mary, who pushed for formal closure through the church, Janelle exists in this in-between space, free but not fully free, emotionally gone but still spiritually tethered, independent but still narratively connected to Kody in a way that TLC clearly understands is valuable for ratings. Fans have become convinced that Janelle and Kody are intentionally holding on to this storyline, not because they want reconciliation, and not because they care about the technicalities of a spiritual ceremony, but because the Brown family has far fewer moving parts than they did 10 years ago, and the network knows that viewers are far more likely to tune in for a season that promises closure, emotional tension, and a final severing of the original polygamist bonds than they are for a season that focuses entirely on Robyn crying in the mansion or Kody's strained attempts at rebuilding his relationships with estranged children who have made it clear they want distance. And this brings the story full circle. The timing of the mansion seizure with the spiritual divorce delays has created a perfect storm of drama that fans believe could carry the show through at least 1 or 2 more seasons, because each storyline feeds the other. The seizure represents the downfall of the empire Kody and Robyn tried so desperately to elevate above the others, while the delayed spiritual release represents the last emotional lifeline keeping the original family structure relevant. It isn't lost on viewers that Robyn loved the mansion, loved it in a way that even her most loyal defenders admit bordered on possessiveness, and losing it represents the shattering of the last illusion that she and Kody were living a more stable, more righteous, or more deserving lifestyle than the rest of the family. For years, fans accused Kody of funneling family funds into Robyn's home, prioritizing her needs, her kids' needs, and her comfort above that of Mary, Janelle, and Christine, and the seizure feels like the universe correcting an imbalance, a moment that finally forces Kody and Robyn to confront the financial consequences of years of favoritism, mismanagement, and denial. Meanwhile, Janelle's storyline, by contrast, represents rebirth, the shedding of old emotional obligations, the delicate process of reclaiming autonomy after decades of shared marital structures, and the possibility of a future that finally belongs to her alone. But fans find it impossible to ignore the strangely convenient timing of everything, the way the mansion storyline is exploding right when Janelle's spiritual release arc needs a new burst of relevance, the way camera crews just happen to be present for some of the most dramatic legal moments, the way Kody seems more defensive than devastated, almost as if the seizure provides a new excuse to play victim while also generating fresh material for TLC to package into highly emotional episodes. And so the question being asked across Sister Wives forums, TikToks, and fan pages everywhere is simple: are Janelle and Kody dragging their spiritual separation to secure another season? The answer, at least from the outside, seems less like a theory and more like an inevitability. Because in the world the Browns have built, a world where narrative tension is currency, where emotional breakdowns are content, where unresolved conflict is the lifeline that keeps a decade-old reality show breathing, it's no longer about closure, healing, or spiritual alignment. It's about survival, relevance, and the ability to convince viewers that there is still something left to watch. And now, with the mansion gone, the land gone, the marriages dissolved, and the family fractured beyond recognition, the Browns are learning the hard way that the only thing left to leverage is the emotional debris of what once was. In that sense, the mansion seizure isn't just a financial catastrophe, it's the symbolic end of the Kody Robyn era of dominance. And Janelle's delayed spiritual divorce isn't just a personal decision, it's the last storyline holding the franchise together. But if there's one thing fans know for certain, it's that the Browns never let an ending be an ending. They stretch it. They revisit it. They retell it from every angle. And until Janelle stands in front of a church leader and says the words that will sever the last remaining tie to Kody Brown, viewers can expect the cameras to keep rolling. Because in the world of Sister Wives, even a final insult is just the beginning of the next season. But even with the mansion seized and the spiritual divorce hanging in the air like an unfinished sentence that everyone is too afraid, or too strategic, to complete, the deeper truth that longtime fans whisper about is that the Browns are no longer just a family navigating heartbreak, they've become a machine, a production, an ongoing storyline that knows exactly how to keep cameras lingering just a little longer, how to leave viewers asking one more question, how to stretch every unresolved Thread into a full hour-long episode filled with slow walks, emotional confessions, tearful interviews, and Kody flipping his hair in frustration as he wonders why the world doesn't see how hard he's trying. And this is the version of Sister Wives that season 21, and possibly 22, seems poised to deliver, a landscape where every moment carries double meaning, where every decision is analyzed not just through the lens of personal relationships but through the lens of what makes compelling television, where Janelle's hesitation to formalize her spiritual release becomes less about fear or uncertainty and more about timing, pacing, and whether the storyline reaches its emotional peak during the mid-season finale or the season premiere.